Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Light back here with another YouTube video. And in today's video we're going to be doing another review here on the channel. It's going to be for Invincible Season 1 2021 review here on the channel. I'm going to start out by saying this quickly. I have not read the comic. I've not read the comic yet, so that might impact the review a bit, so just want to make sure that's clear as well. Before you guys think I read the comic, because it could impact the viewing experience. I don't know, but personally, probably stuff will get surprised more to me than say the person who read the comics. So yeah, I just want to keep that quick disclaimer out quickly. But yeah, let's get into it. So Invincible. Just a quick synopsis is pretty much Mark Grayson is a young adult, I would say, and he is pretty much trying to process the knowledge that his father, who is known as Omni-Man, who could pretty much, he is like a Viltrumite, which is pretty much an ancient or civilization that have like superpowers and all that, and his father's known as Omni-Man, and he pretty much saves the world and all that, and that happens, and yeah, he processes the knowledge through that of then he gets the superpowers and he becomes invincible and so forth. That's pretty much all I'll give for now. That's without spoilers. So again, warning, spoilers ahead as well. I always forget to say that, but all my reviews will be spoilers unless I say otherwise. So yeah, you've been warned. Um. So yeah, where to start? I guess. Uh, let's start with the positives, I guess. I really enjoyed the story aspect telling of the this show. I thought it was really well done. I thought it was really well done in terms of the story aspect of telling the story, especially with the unique plot twists and the deaths, especially. I think this is very top tier kind of shows in my personal opinion. I really like this show. It's got to be top five, especially for myself, of just superhero shows. I really enjoyed the storytelling aspect from the fact that it's pretty much ends up coming down to father or son, because Omni-Man and of course Invincible have to fight each other. So in the end, so I thought that was really well, and also it's telling adventures of Invincible and how he fought villains and stuff. I like the inclusion of the characters, such as the Guardians of the Globe, the whole lore behind the Viltrumites, which is pretty much the species that Omni Man's from, which is like an alien civilization. And again, with the story wise, they're from the plot twist, especially with the fact that Omni Man had killed the Guardians of the Globe. So when I was watching he killed them in like episode 2, but we didn't know an official reason until actually episode 7 or 8. I can't. I think it was episode 8, the season finale, pretty much. So you were left the whole show being like, what the heck's going on with Omni Man? Did he really kill them consciously and purposely kill them? Was he getting controlled? What exactly was happening? Because that's something I really enjoy too, is theorizing. I really like theorizing as well. I That's a lot of the reasons why I like like a lot of these Marvel shows and stuff. It's because they give you little theorizing things. So that's something else as well as with Invincible. But obviously, if you read the comic, it would be much different. But again, I didn't read the comics, so I don't plan on reading like season past the first couple comics if I ever do read the comics, just for the fact I don't want it being really spoiled. But I've seen that like it doesn't really impact it, but it impacted him for me because I wanted it to be a surprise of what exactly was happening with Omni Man. So yeah, that was one thing as well. The next thing would probably be it's a great like very, I would say, coming of age story. I mean, it's not like in that kind of sense. It's more of becoming a superhero kind of thing. I think it was really well done. It really showed a lot of character development in terms of the character of Invincible. Obviously, by the end of the show, he wasn't like some full-fledged superhero ready to kill his father, beat up his father, or anything. So that's something else as well. And actually ties into the storytelling aspect. Is it sets up well for again sequels and stuff like that. Because Omni Man just flies up right away, and again with character development, uh, Mark is not completely uh, like a superhero. I mean, he is a superhero, obviously, but he's not completely like some next level Omni Man or something like that, which I think we'll explore on in previous, more seasons. So that was just that. But other than that, it does a really good, heartfelt kind of story. Kind of relate a bit to Mark, especially with the fact that he's trying to process the whole thing, especially getting all these superpowers, and then again, your father pretty much, not betraying him, lying to him his whole life, and then trying to kill the world, and you're trying to save it, but you can't save people, and yeah. The next thing would probably be great voice acting. Now this show had a star-studded cast. I thought it had like a very star-studded cast. Like you knew everyone on this cast. You know every single person on this cast. You do not know anybody. Like there's not a single. Well, actually, technically there was, but for the most part, it was like all A-list celebrities, B-list, at the most. Just from the stellar cast, I'll just name a few. J.K. Simmons is in the. Of course, he plays Omni Man. Steve Young plays Invincible. Sandra Oh, the mom. Uh, Walton Goggins or Giggins. I think I mispronounced it. My apologies, but he plays Cecil. Uh, there's like Ezra Miller, Marshala Ali, uh, Seth Rogen plays an alien, which I'll get into that later too. Uh, there's so many people that are on this list. Carrie Payton, Kevin Michael Richardson. Those are two um, goats of the voice acting business or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, the next thing would probably be let's go on to the next thing, which is going to be the action point. I thought the action was very on point. Just to warn you guys also before you watch it, or if you've already watched it, you would know. There's a lot of gore, and it is a hard R, but it's not too bad to be honest with you. Because again, it's cartoon violence. It's not like it's not too bad, but then again, there's people with their guts hanging out and somebody's head getting chopped off, and there's stuff like that. But like, it's not like persistent for every episode or anything like that. It's more of just like just there sometimes, and yeah. Uh, so yeah, that's something else I really enjoy. Like the fight scenes were always like you were always watching. You were like, oh man, that's awesome. Like I personally never picked up my phone or anything during any of the episodes because I was like, ah, oh, this is a bit boring. I'll look at my phone or something. Uh, Whereas in these episodes, I was like fully entertained for the whole time. It was really enjoyable. Character wise, I thought it was phenomenal. I thought they did an awesome job. I already kind of explained this through, but like most of the characters are very layered. Well, in terms of the main characters, they're very layered. Like Omni Man, Invincible, I think they're very layered characters. There's always like suspicion, especially with the whole like robot thing, because there's a character named Robot. And then the Guardians of the Globe is pretty interesting. I think they're all very interesting, very different reasoned characters, and I know in the comics especially they go into more backstory exactly with the other characters too, like Red Rocket. They go into detail with him and his backstory and stuff like that. So I'm excited to see this show. I can come for not more seasons because it will be coming. It got renewed. I'll save that for another video, my opinions on that, but this is only the first season, so my hopes aren't too high in terms of that stuff. Next one would probably be the villains. Now, I know you're thinking to yourself, oh, it's an 8 episode show and Omni Man's the villain. No. There are multiple villains to the show, multiple minor villains and stuff like that. My personal favorite is the whole I don't remember his name too well, but the whole tiger. I can't remember his name. Sorry about that, but he was a really interesting villain as well as Titan. I thought he was a pretty interesting Marshall Ali's character. I thought he was an interesting villain. I don't even know if he's a villain, but they're very interesting characters to me, and I am super excited because I've also seen some lore behind them too. So I was like, dang, that's pretty cool. But yeah. Uh, I guess we'll get into writing again. It ties in kind of with the story. So yeah, great plot twist, great writing, really well done. Realism, I thought it was really cool, especially with the fact that it's very realistic to the point where it's like people are dying, obviously, and it shows that too because it shows like superheroes don't just get straight to it and just save a whole bunch of people and be fine and whatever. So that's something else I enjoy because we also see a lot of the times, like for example, Omni Man would be in the hospital, or Invincible would be in the hospital. Some character would be in the hospital because he got a major beatdown, and you don't usually see that in superhero movies or TV shows where the characters like this, especially when they get beat up. Like Invincible got beat up a handful of times, and he was in a hospital. Whereas you don't really see that too much in superhero movies, especially when the superhero is getting beaten up, when you expect them to be beaten. So that's something I like, really like as well as the fact that again you're not going to be a straight up superhero as soon as you start, and you could see that especially with Invincible, and you're not going to go straight up and just start saving people and fighting your strong father and one of the strongest beings, and just win like that. Obviously there'll be deaths. And I was a bit surprised too at certain points, especially the scene where he was like grabbing onto a lady and trying to hold her on, and then she ended up dying. So I was really surprised by that, and yeah, I thought it was really good in terms of realism, really well done. Costume design, phenomenal. I like the costumes. I think they look pretty interesting. I mean, I like the vibrant colors. I'm a big fan of vibrant colors, as well as a bit of dark colors. And I think Invincible's costume, at the least, mixes really well. Same with I really like Omni Man's costume and Red Rockets. I think they look pretty cool. But yeah, again, even character design too. The Mauler twins, they look pretty interesting. Uh, Even though they have the basic blue character, the character design looks pretty cool. They're another layered character that I really like. So I guess let's get into the half and halves real quick. So I'm gonna go half and half on the animation. Now this show is very much animated towards the kind of similar drawing style as some of the DC animated comics. If you notice, if you say compare Young Justice to this show, and you in terms of animation, in terms of the way the characters look, you will notice that they look very similar. So that's something I admire because I like Young Justice, obviously, animation. So that's interesting as well. And also, if you've looked through the Invincible comics, you've looked through the pages and stuff, these look almost identical to the comics. So I believe they kind of drew the comics on a screen or whatever and animated and whatnot. But the reason why I say half and half is just because the fact that there's some times where it's like, oh, the animation's a little bit bad, especially when Mark's flying. It's just like one repetitive, continuous loop, and it's not too good. Uh, I'm not a animation guru or anything like that, but it at certain points it didn't really wasn't too good in terms of animation. I felt like the animation was a bit cheap, and then that moves into the negative right now. Is again the negatives is again the animation was very cheap. It looked like they gave maybe 100K on the whole animation part of this, and then they give like $1 million, $2 million for voice acting and pretty much everything else. So that's another thing as well where you're like, what the heck is happening? Because if you realize they could have used their money better, way better, in terms of they hired too many A-list celebrities. Like Marshall Ali doesn't really need to be voicing Titan. I'm just being honest. Same with Seth Rogen. Like Seth Rogen does not need to be voiced. I mean, it's all right, I guess. I mean, if they want to play them, alright. But, like, you do not need to be chasing after some of these celebrities. Like, right now, in the clear right now, I wouldn't mind. I think J.K. Simmons, obviously, as Omni-Man, completely fine. Steve Young as Invincible, completely fine again. Zazie Beetz as Amber, completely fine. Uh, Sandra Oh as the mom, alright. But again, Seth Rogen does not need to be an alien. I mean, I'm not trying to be like rude about it or something like that. It just feels like it. He's a very A-list celebrity, and they could have gone with someone else or something like that. But again, he could be in store for more of a show. I have no clue. Same with Marshall Ali. Don't know why he needs to voice that guy, but I guess it's all right. I mean, Amazon can spend their money how they want to spend it, but yeah, I just felt like more money should have been allocated to the animation. I hope they kind of fix that problem in season 2 and season 3 of the show. But anyways, I guess let's get my overall rating. Uh, I'm gonna give this rating, honestly, an honest rating, about 9 out of 10. I mean, it's one of my favorite shows, but again, I can't let that animation slip, especially because it's an animation show. So that's the big reason why. But I thought it was a really good show, really enjoyable. Can't wait for season 2 and 3. But anyways, thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.